So in this lesson we're going to be writing absolute value equations from word problems, and we're going to be solving absolute value equations with two absolute value signs. Let's take a look at the first example. In a dance competition, the minimum length of a routine is 4 minutes. The maximum length of a routine is 8 minutes. Write an absolute value equation that represents the minimum and maximum. So my first step here is I want to draw myself a number line, and I'm just going to plot down, put my 0 here. I said the routine is a minimum of 4 minutes and a maximum of 8 minutes. So I'm going to plot those 2 points. I'm going to say 4 and 8. What I want here is I want my two things I'm looking for. One, I want my halfway point. So where's the halfway? The halfway point from 4 to 8 is where?
6.
6, alright, so I'm going to count 1, 2. So I got my 6 here, which is my halfway point. And I want to know the distance here from halfway to from one of my minimum and maximum to the halfway point. The distance from here to here is what?
2.
2, beautiful. Go with distance, and we'll put 2. Alright, so when I write my equation, I'm going to say the absolute value of x minus 6 is equal to 2. So 6 here is I'm just going to abbreviate. This is my halfway point, HW. And then here, this is my distance. Just to confirm I got this right, if I substitute in my two values, 4 and 8, into my equation, this will be the absolute value of 4 minus 6, which equals -2, and the absolute value of -2 is +2, so far so good. My second equation is the absolute value. I'm going to plug in the 8, substitute the 8 in. 8 minus 6. 8 minus 6 is 2. The absolute value of 2 is 2. Alright, second example. Mr. Sorge assigned a writing assignment that requires the assignment must be a minimum of 16 pages and a maximum of 32 pages. Write an absolute value equation that represents the minimum and maximum lengths. So again, I'm going to start with my number line. Have my 0 here, my 16, and my 32. What do I need first? There's two things I need. One, I need my halfway point, and I also need my distance. What's my halfway point between 16 and 32? 24, perfect. So halfway, I have 24. And then my distance between 16, so here, this is my halfway point. Oops, sorry, halfway. And then my distance here is going to be 8. So my distance here is 8. So then, again, my absolute value. So I'm just going to put x minus, this is my halfway point, equals my distance. So if I substitute my values in, what do I get for my equation? If I substitute my values in, what do I get for my equation?
The absolute value of x minus 24 equals 8.
Perfect. Absolute value of x minus 24 equals 8. Again, you could check. Substitute 32 in. 32 minus 24 is 8. The absolute value of 8 is 8. That one works. Substitute in 16. 16 minus 24 is -8. The absolute value of -8 is also 8. So far, so good. Alright, so the next example is we're going to be solving equations with two absolute value signs. So if you have the absolute value of ax plus b, where a is a random number, b is a number, equals the absolute value of cx plus d, c is a number, and d is a number. Okay, so you have two options. One, you need to make them both positive. So both quantities will be positive. So the positive quantity of ax plus b equals the positive quantity of cx plus d. And the theory behind this is positive times a positive is a positive. So you always want to find a positive answer, and then you want to find a negative answer that also makes it work. So the second equation will be positive times the absolute value of ax plus b equals the negative of the absolute value of cx minus d, cx plus d. All right, so one of the two. So one case, both quantities would be positive. The second case, one quantity would be positive. The second quantity will be negative. So let's take a look at an example. Solve the equation and check your answers. Let me just go back one quick second on this one. with these equations, there's a good chance you're going to have some extraneous solutions. Extraneous solutions, if you once you solve for x, if you plug back into the equation still will not be true. All right, so in this case, we have to check for our answers. So let's see some examples. Solve the equation, check your answers. So my first equation is going to be the positive of 3x minus 4, the positive quantity, equals the positive quantity of x. Now you don't have to write the positives there because it's given, but I just want to point out the differences. And the second equation is going to be the positive of 3x minus 4 equals the negative of the quantity x. Now, it won't matter which one's positive or negative. You can interchange those two, but just make sure you have both. All right? So if I have this one, so this one is just simply 3x minus 4 equals x. I'm going to bring my x over that way, and I'm going to bring my 4 over this way. So I'll have 2x equals 4, x equals 2. One solution. Second solution here, I have 3x minus 4 equals negative x. Again, bringing my x over and my 4 over, I get 4x equals 4 and x equals 1. At this point, you want to go back and substitute in and make sure you don't have any extraneous solutions. So if you substitute in 2, so you're going to have 3 times 2 minus 4 should equal the absolute value of 2. Does it? 3 times 2 is minus 4. Absolute value of 2 does equal the absolute value of 2. So far so good. Second equation, 1. So the absolute value of 3 times 1 minus 4 equals the absolute value of 1. 3 times 1 is
3.
Minus 4. Negative 1. The absolute value of negative 1 is 1, and the absolute value of 1 is both solutions work in this case. So solve the equation, check your solutions. So I'm going to take the positives of both. So 4x minus 10, positive quantity of that will equal the positive quantity of 3x plus 1. And in my second equation, it doesn't matter which one you make positive and negative, just make sure one of them. I'm going to make my first one negative. The negative quantity of 4x minus 10 equals the positive quantity of 3x plus 1. Solving both equations here. So I got 4x minus 10 equals 6x plus 2. Solve here, bring my 4 over, bring my 2 over. I get 2x equals negative 12 and x equals negative 6. Second equation, distribute the negative 1 to both. So I got negative 4x plus 10 equals 6x plus 2. Bringing the 4x over, I get 10x. Bringing the 2 over, I get equals positive 8. Divide both sides by 10, and x equals 4/5. Once you're here, go back and make sure you don't have any extraneous solutions. Plug in negative 6 here. 4 times negative 6 is negative 24 minus 10. Negative 34, the absolute value of negative 34, which is equal to 34. What does this equal? Plug in negative 6. 3 times negative 6. Negative 18. Negative 18 plus 1. Negative 17. The absolute value of negative 17 is 17 times 2. Check. So this one, so far so good. 4/5. 4 times 4/5. 16 over 5. Minus 10. 16 over 5. Minus 10 over 1, or 50 over 10, and you get what? Negative 50 minus 16. 34 over 5 on the left side. On the right side, so on this one I have negative 34 over 5. Absolute value of this should equal, and on the other side here, we got 3 times 4/5, which is 12 over 5. 12 over 5 minus, 12 over 5 plus 1, which is 17 over 5. So I have 2 times the absolute value of 17 over 5, which is equal to 34 over 5. Did they both work?
Yeah.
Check. So both answers are solutions.